It's time to own the duality within us. We are beings of duality. We are beings of multiple perspectives of consciousness. We have both the duality of vulnerability within us and emotion, and we have things like softness, we have things like needs, we have things like an inner child, and we need to stop pushing these aspects of us away. We could also own that we can be courageous, that we can be brave, that we can be confident, that we can hold strong in our power. This is the duality of humanity. There is a push and a pull between people who reject their vulnerability and who push it away, who are afraid to let it be seen by other people, who are afraid to be vulnerable around other people, who are afraid to show other people that they're a human with emotions, that are afraid to show them vulnerable things about them. But I'm here to tell you that it only brings you closer to people when you are vulnerable around them. When you show other people that you're a human with emotions and you allow them to see your softness, you allow them to see your vulnerability, it can only bring people closer. Now, to the opposite, we have people who reject their bravery, who reject their confidence, who reject their courage, and who stay stuck in the vulnerability and refuse to leave the vulnerability behind. And so we need to find a dichotomy, and we need to find an and consciousness between owning that we are both vulnerable beings and we are also beings that can decide with our own free will to overcome things that are vulnerable in nature with courage, with bravery, with confidence, and with power, and to choose to not hold back in our life, but to embrace our life fully and to embrace the dichotomy and the contrast of life by choosing to take something that is hard, or to take something that is scary, or to take something that is complicated, and to allow ourselves to overcome it and find a way within the fact that we are vulnerable beings, that we do have a softness within us, that we do have an inner child within us that says that I can't or it's scary. And we have to hold the dichotomy of that vulnerability and that softness within us. We have to hold the hand of that inner softness and also walk forward anyways. What is most important to understand is that somebody who is vulnerable, someone who is soft, someone who has emotion, does not make them any less brave, does not make them any less powerful, does not make them any less courageous. It is the people that can own their softness and their bravery, that can own the dichotomy within them, that can allow themselves to truly own the contrast of this world. People who feel in their vulnerability most of the time feel like it takes away from the fact that they could be brave. They feel that if they're vulnerable, if they're struggling, that they can't be brave, that they can't be courageous. And people that are brave and courageous all the time feel like they can't be vulnerable, or otherwise it takes away from that. But it's not true. The people that can own their bravery and also own their courage and own that they are also emotional beings with vulnerability are the ones that can truly overcome in this life. Because we need to both own the truth that we are emotional based beings and we do have an inner child and we do have a vulnerability and a softness within us. We need to own that and understand it in order to fully allow ourselves to move forward within our strength and within the awareness of the fact that we are also creator beings of spirit, and we also have a power within us. We also have capability within us to overcome, to be strong, and to be brave. And it is the people that understand that our softness does not make us any less strong, and our strength does not make us any less soft. They can allow themselves to overcome and can also allow themselves to create closeness in relationship with others because they're not afraid to be seen. They're not afraid to be heard. And they're not rejecting these parts of themselves because they know that even if someone sees their softness, sees their vulnerability, that doesn't take away their strength or their power. So I want you to ask yourself today, am I somebody that rejects my power too much and stays too much in my softness and my vulnerability? Or am I somebody who rejects my vulnerability and my softness and tries to be strong and powerful all the time? Whichever side of the spectrum you land on, I invite you today to take a step in the opposite direction and to discover what it is you reject about being strong, whatever you deny or suppress about being brave or courageous, or on the opposite, what are you rejecting about your vulnerability, your softness, your inner child, and your emotional self? Allow yourself to face this head on and decide to re-own with your own free will this aspect of self that is so useful because it is a part of us. And we can't be strong in a world where we disown any part of who we are and what we are. It is only when we are in reality and when we face reality that we can do something about reality.
The sun, chariot of fire, burning with desire as he runs the race.